come on then, you middle-aged Ducati diehards, let's have a duel in the comments, because I know you're already going to come at me for this, whether or not I say something positive or not. So do you know what? I'm ready. I've been training for all of you. Let's have it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock. Alrighty, let's do it. Well, I hope everybody is having a blessed day, or about to, whatever time you're watching this. I'm just getting out for a little cruise while I can. Winter is pretty much settling here in New Zealand, so it's icy cold. Doesn't look like it, but I'm wearing 3 layers right now, and I should have put on some thicker gloves because I can feel it through the fingertips, but I've only got a little 10-minute ride, so we might as well blast out a little topic I wanted to get off my chest while I go source me some dinner, which is going to be some fish and chips. The English guy gets fish and chips. Surprise, surprise. But the wifey's away tonight at mum's house, so we're 3 boys, we've got a boys' night off. So why not take the best Supermoto known to man for the street for a ride and talk about why I chose this over the mono. But the main reason, to be honest, is the feel of the bike and the look. And of course, these are my own personal opinions, so please don't come crazy at me in the comments. I think the Ducati also looks amazing. But if you pair it compared to the 690 side by side, one of them is clearly a Supermoto built for the street, and the other one is obviously a naked bike built to look like a Supermoto. And of course, none of these are true blue Supermotos. You'd need to convert like a 450 dirt bike for that, but it's the best you're going to get for a usable, reliable street machine that fits the bill. But this is obviously a lot heavier than a normal Supermoto, but then the Ducati is even heavier than this, which has its pros and cons, because when you swing your leg over either of them, you can clearly see there's a difference. This one is a lot lighter, it's a lot more playful, it's more flickable, it feels a little bit more goofy, a little bit more responsive on the throttle, whereas the Ducati is a little bit heavier, a little bit slower to flick around. It's a bit more of a serious bike. Think of it more like a naked bike, so it's better for chewing up miles, day-to-day riding, and it's probably your Betty? Who's Betty? It's probably your better daily rider, to be honest, especially for the types of people who tend to buy those bikes. It's usually the guys that are a little bit older, let's be honest. And I think there's a reason, because I think Ducatis hold their prowess a bit more. If you say you have a Ducati, then you're going to get a couple of nods towards you in the right circles. But then also, I think the Ducati suits the more layman rider, whereas I'm a bit more of a child at heart. I still haven't fully grown out of that phase. I'm just on the cusp of maybe growing up a little bit, but I just don't know, because every day tends to change. But because I'm a little bit more of a gimpy little idiot sometimes on a bike, I love the playfulness of this thing, and it really did tick all the boxes for me when I took it for a test ride. And then on the other side of it, this is a damn sight cheaper, because as you know, KTM had some recent problems, and I got this right in the midst of that. So I saved myself about $6,000 just on this. And that alone, to be honest, already pushed me more towards the KTM before I even test rode them both. And then when I test rode them, it was a no-brainer. Of course, I was going to go for the bike that had a lot more fun for me and at a cheaper price point. Whereas the Ducati, as I said, is a little bit more serious. When I bought this, I had a Yamaha MT-09, and it kind of made the Ducati feel too similar to that. It wasn't contrasty enough for me to justify throwing down some hard-earned pennies to get it. So I would have either got rid of the MT-09 basically and got something completely different. But the MT-09 is such a good all-rounded bike, it's very hard to find something that the MT-09 doesn't do. And then this obviously felt enough of a far away break from the MT-09, because this it's that little bit more goofy, even though the MT-09 is far from a serious bike. But the MT-09 is a wheelie machine for a reason. If you've got a bit of a childish temperament like me and you do like to have a bit of fun, that bike will get into trouble pretty quick, and it will satisfy your inner hooligan. But because this is a little bit more dirt bike orientated, you can kind of have fun on it like it is a dirt bike. The suspension's a little bit more forgiving. The lightness is obviously very feelable when you ride it. And on top of that, you can do silly things with this. You can just jump it off of curbs. I hit speed bumps with this thing almost full blast. And don't get me started on wheelies, because it's so much lighter. It's a lot easier just to lift the front up, get it to wheelie. Like, it's just a big playful idiot's orange machine. And then obviously the Ducati is more of the distinguished gentleman. You're going to see that more, I think, with people who tend to show up to cafes, have a coffee, chat with the lads. And to be honest, most people who probably get these probably don't look after them as much as people who own Ducatis. But these things are super reliable if you look after them as well. I just want to throw that out there. This LC4 motor, I think it's an LC4. But this motor is one of the most refined KTM motors anyway, so this one is pretty much bulletproof. Of course, every odd bike is going to have its problem at the production line, but this is a very good bike compared to a few other KTM models. And then you've got the Ducati, of course, which I think it's still Desmo. I don't know if they've changed it, but I'm pretty sure at the time I was looking last year, it was still Desmo orientated, the engine, and that was something I factored in as well. I could be wrong here. But it's just a lot of costing that popped into my mind as well, of course, it naturally would. Whereas this is just a lot easier to maintain. You literally just change the oil, twist the thing, and it will go. Whereas the Ducati, I've always got in the back of my mind, it's going to cost a lot more to maintain. Well, I hope this sunlight isn't ruining the visual for you guys. I know these little tiny action cameras, the sensors are so small that direct sunlight like that really does mess with them. You can't really win sometimes, it's just the way the light hits these cameras. But yeah, with that, if you guys are ever interested in motovlogging or you do it yourself, people have asked me how I've got my microphone to sound as good as it does. I'll take that as a compliment, so thank you. And they asked me how I get the camera to look as it does. So I'm pretty much working on a video explaining all that, and hopefully it covers everything and you guys can get it just as good as me, if not better. But we'll save that for another video. But back to the topic in hand. I do think as well that the KTM sounds better. Of course, these are all personal preferences, but there's something about just sticking a straight pipe on this bike and just letting it rip. Like once it gets into those higher RPMs, this massive single cylinder just shines through like a big ass dirt bike. It's the best way to describe it. And the fact it is 700cc, 690, whatever, has enough oomph to obviously satisfy you on the street, and it's usable. I've taken this on long rides, I've done overnight stays on this, and I will be bringing some more videos very soon, taking this on some road trips, because it can do whatever you want it to do. It's just a little bit of imagination is needed, because at the end of the day, this bike isn't set up for comfort, and that is why most people you see will have this KTM Power Parts comfort seat, which is another rip-off accessory, but that's the way of the world nowadays, isn't it? Whereas on the plus side for the Ducati, it's a lot more comfortable, let's be honest. It has a bigger seat, and comfort is a big factor, especially when it goes to the demographic of people that buy these things. As I said, I know there's going to be some outliers, but from what I see, a majority of the guys who own that Ducati tend to be a little bit older. So I'm sure as you get older, as I'm starting to find out now, your back, your hips, your legs, they need a little bit more comfort. And sometimes that trumps complete idiocy like this bike. Whereas I'm sure at some point, my back will catch up and it will want to get rid of this for something a bit more comfortable. But until then, might as well make the most of it. So if you're younger, you're probably definitely looking more at the KTM 690 platform or the Husky 701. They're all similar enough. Tell you what though, I will say the 2026 edition of the Ducati, the Mono, looks absolutely stunning. It really does. And I really do like the white finish on it. The Ducati white does look beautiful. I've got a friend who's got a Panigale V2 in the white, and it does look stunning. I think it's like a pearl white. I think there's no question. Looking at a Supermoto, I think orange is more iconic. KTM, if you're of my age or older, then you'll remember the Ricky Carmichael days when motocross was a big thing. And for that reason, this thing just gives me that nostalgic feeling more than the Ducati. And I'm also fully aware that right behind me is a cop car. So I'll gently pull out of here. I will say as well, one big perk of this bike being so much more light, flickable and more Supermoto orientated is you can really slam that back brake on and get the back sliding just for fun. And then you can really peel it out of corners and feel the back slipping. And I will quickly throw out there, I don't really think this is a pro or a con, depending on how vain you are. But more people, on average, will notice and look at the KTM over the Ducati. And you do get more attention from the younger crowd. Kids tend to look at this more. And with that comes a little bit more of a stigma where people are expecting you to be a bit more rebellious. I get people ask me to do wheelies 24/7. I do get riffraff giving me attention. Whereas a Ducati, you're going to get more attention from actual riders, because most people who don't ride wouldn't even realize that Ducati would do a Supermoto style bike. I mean, whether that's a pro or con, who knows? But I think that pretty much nails what I wanted to get off my chest. I've probably missed a lot of stuff because I've done this on the fly. But apparently inside here is a fresh fish place, and they do fish and chips. So we're going to give this a bash. The old foodie Asian supermarket. I'll let you know tomorrow if it comes out like liquid. But for now, that is the beautiful KTM 690, and that's my opinions, and that is why I chose this over the Ducati 698 Mono. Let me know what you think. Tell me where I'm right or wrong. Let's keep it friendly in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.